has to cover everything except her face and hands, according to Muhammad in the Hadith and in Islamic law, the sex slaves are actually always to be naked from the waist up and accessible to their owner whenever he wishes. And this is obviously something else that is monstrous and barbaric, but that Moustafa Zayed would pass over in silence and then spend all his time smearing and defaming me and trying to incite violence against me in order to divert attention away from that. Well, you know something? I don't care. It's not as if I'm not going to die if I don't do this work. And he's the idea that I've been getting $900,000 is fanciful. I wish I had gotten $900,000 because I could certainly use it to expose his lies and the lies of other people like him and be able to greatly expand my operations. But actually, I've gotten nothing like that. And even if I had, it's irrelevant. Even if I'm the richest man in the world and the most evil man in the world, the question before us is, does Islam allow for the equality of rights of women with men? And manifestly, it does not. And I think it's just shameful that he would spend all his time spreading hatred against people who tell the truth about Islam. So desperate is he to deceive unbelievers about this agenda. One must ask, why? What's the overall point of deceiving us in this way?
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Well, we've gotten 2/3 into our program, and right now it's an opportunity for you to pick up the phone and call us at 248-416-1300. 248-416-1300. I hear the phone ringing right now. We will be taking a brief break. We'll be coming right back. At that point, we'll be taking our callers and get you ready for your questions as we continue with tonight's topic. Again, Islam guarantees women equality of rights with men. We want you to, we encourage you, implore you to stick to the topic when you ask your questions. We'll give you that opportunity to ask either a gentleman tonight, Moustafa Zayed or Robert Spencer, our Muslim and non-Muslim apologists, respectively. Again, we'll be right back after this quick break for your questions.
Are you a Christian who loves watching ABN shows? Are you eager to make a video and post it online and see it reach millions of Middle Eastern people? Or are you a Muslim who wants an outlet to ask questions, make comments, or post video responses to Christian evangelists and apologists? Well, ABN Tube has it all. ABN Tube is an extended media outlet of ABN TV Ministry. We've gotten an overwhelming response from viewers of ABN to launch a media outlet for people like you to upload your own video responses to some of the clips we have online, whether on abnsat.com or on our ABNsat YouTube account. Our goal is to bring to light any and all lies about false religion through media, to create an open dialogue about religion among people of different faith, and to gear them to the truth of Jesus Christ. Please visit our site at www.abntube.com. Thank you. If you have any questions, please visit our website at www.abnsat.com. Under the Webcast tab, you can view ABN's live streaming channels like Jesus or Muhammad, Youth TV, Apologetics, and more. We also encourage you to donate to our ministry. To do so, click on Donate to ABN under the main menu, then click on Donate button to make your donation. ABN greatly appreciates your help.
All right, welcome back. You've heard from both of our apologists this evening on the topic of Islam guarantees women equality of rights with men. We do have a couple of callers. We're going to ask real quick because of the limited time we have left here. Please state your question. Please direct it to each one of the two gentlemen here, Moustafa Zayed or Robert Spencer. Moustafa or Robert, you have 2 minutes to respond, and then if necessary, the other person who doesn't get the question has 1 minute to respond or make a comment on the answer. So at this point, we'll take our first caller. Welcome to Debate Night, and what is your question and who is it directed to?
Yes, good evening. My name is Ashraf Ramla. I might direct my question to Mr. Zayed. He emphasized that Mr. Spencer is acting violence and hate against Islam. I would like to ask him, what about all the Copts killed in Egypt lately? Who instigated this violence against Christians that they don't do anything to anyone?
Okay, Moustafa, you have 2 minutes.
I'm Egyptian. I was born in Alexandria, and I have many Coptic friends. There's a huge problem of people calling regular crimes when a Muslim kills a Christian or a Christian calls a Muslim, they call it a crime of religion, which is not true. I lived there. I know the people. When you come to a terrorist attack like what happened in Knesset al-Qaddisin in my hometown, Alexandria, that is a terrorist attack. Most likely was done by the special forces of Mubarak. I condemn the fact that we did not find the people who done it yet, and that's a big crime because these are my people. However, not that any crime of a victim of violence would be a crime because he's a Christian. Other than that, when I get into a car accident here in America, then Americans are killing Muslims. That is not true. Christians were protected by the Muslims. It is the Muslims who saved the Copt Christians from al-Milkaniyin, the Romans who tortured them. The Pope of the Christians was escaped for 12 years, and he came with the protection of the Muslims. His brother was almost like barbecued, and for lack of a better term, to change his religion. He refused. With the protection of Muslims, Christianity survived today. One of the worst Orientalists that he's truly against Islam, Alfred Butler himself admitted that if it wasn't that the Muslims came to Egypt, the Orthodox religion, the Coptic Christian religion, was totally to be annihilated by the Romans. During the Romans, Copts used to pay 14 different kind of taxes. When the Muslim came, it was only 2 dinars. Less than 100 years, the predominant language became Arabic, and 90% of the Coptic Christians accepted Islam as a phase of their own religion and lived in peace for 1400 years. So my heart goes out to the victims of the terrorist attack in Knesset al-Qaddisin and any other place, but that has nothing to do with Islam. And if a Muslim commits it, I'm the first one to condemn him. I'm the first one to ask for the maximum punishment upon him. No one should touch any person for his religion or ethnic background whatsoever. And Islamic law is the first one to mandate that, and it's the highest punishment in Islam.
Okay, Robert, you have 1 minute if you'd like to respond to that.
There have been many attacks on churches in Egypt, and so I wonder if it's just incidental that the victims are Christians. Also, he mentioned the Pope, the Coptic Pope Shenouda, who has also spoken out many times complaining about the kidnapping of Christian girls and their forcible conversion to Islam. That's something that has to do with religion. And he lies about the invasion of Egypt in the 7th century. Actually, if you look back at the documents, and I can post this tomorrow at Jihad Watch, an early Egyptian general of the Muslims actually wrote back to his superiors saying, I need more money because I need to cover this land with troops. Obviously, they were not welcoming the conquerors in Egypt. They were resisting them.
Okay. Okay, we have another caller. What is your question, and who is it directed to?
My question is directed to Moustafa Zayed. First, I'd like to thank you for admitting that the Quran inspires and encourages Muslims terrorists. I hope he can come out and condemn the Quran and Hadith with the same passion that he condemned Robert Spencer's writing. Now, my question is for Imam. The Quranic surahs that you gave explanations for, can you tell me if they were Mutashabihat verses, the unclear verses, or are they part of the al-Kitab, the mother of the book? If they're not part of the al-Kitab, then don't you have a disease in your heart for explaining their meaning, as Surah 3:7 states?
Mr. Moustafa, Mr. Zayed.
Well, I apologize to the caller for what I'm going to say. What he says is a characteristic of people who learn about Islam from the haters of Islam. Everything that he said is absolute ignorance, and I can even find the source. Mr. Spencer made that mistake claiming that al-Kitab, which is the original form of the Quran before it was revealed to Prophet Muhammad, it's actually the opening chapter, the first chapter of the Quran, which we call al-Fatiha. That is al-Kitab. So the caller is mixing things. I don't know where he got that from. Obviously, he got his Islam information from the likes of Spencer. I urge the people, you want to learn about Judaism? Ask a rabbi. Do not ask the Nazis. So you want to learn about Islam? Read the Quran for yourself, a good translation. Read an authentic hadith for yourself. Do not go to the sworn enemies, people who make a living like Spencer, inciting hatred against Muslims, buy the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then come to Muslim and tell them, you know, this is Islam, defend yourself. This is not Islam. The Quran is one Quran. Read it for yourself. The hadith, the authentic hadith of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ are there. Read it for yourself. Do not quote me, Robert Spencer, and ask me to try to defend Islam and defend something that does not exist. Thank you.
Okay, Robert, you can respond if you like for 1 minute time.
Yeah, you know, here again, he's inciting more hatred and violence. The reality is that the caller made a good point in the first part of what he said, because, you know, this Norway shooting that Zayed is trying to hang me with, the guy did not say and could not have said that he was committing violence because of anything that I had written. He just cited some news articles that I had put up at Jihad Watch. That's hardly an inspiration. But many Islamic terrorists, as a matter of fact, virtually all Islamic terrorists, quote Quran and Hadith to justify violence and to explain why they are committing acts of violence. And so I would wonder if Moustafa Zayed would say that the Quran is therefore inciting hatred and violence and condemn it in the similar way. But of course he will not. Instead, he just keeps slinging the same demonization and defamation, which is all designed to get us off topic and keep us from looking at the manifest injustices that Islam perpetrates.
Okay. Okay, we are ready for another caller. If we have another caller, what is your question and who is it directed to?
My name is Isa, and my question is directed to Imam Moustafa. You guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please, tell us your question.
I'd like to ask him a question in two parts real quick. He says in Islam, women are equal, correct?
Correct. Go ahead.
Okay. Imam? Women are equal in Islam, correct?
Mustafa?
Equitable rights.
So they both are equal. A woman could be sexually immoral just as much as a man, correct?
Yes.
Okay. My quick question is, why is it only the females wear hijab? Why don't the men wear hijab if they are equal?
Well, I don't know what religion that you belong to, but let me ask you, have you ever seen the hair color of Virgin Mary in any picture in any Christian church? No. She only shows her face and her hand. She's the greatest Muslim woman that ever lived and will ever live, and that's how a Muslim woman should dress. Obviously, women are the point of attraction to men, and as mandated by God, even in the Bible, a woman who does not cover her head does not respect her mind. And that's the decency, and that's the objectification of women, that they're not an object of desire and respect for them. Women do not lust over men that cover, show their hair, but actually men lust after women if they expose their body and expose their bodies more than that. That is a respect for the women.
Robert, you have 1 minute if you'd like to respond to that.
Yeah, sure. You notice the only thing this guy can do in response to this question is criticize Christianity. He can't actually address the fundamental point of the question, which is, if men and women in Islam are equal, then why does the Quran and Islamic law mandate different treatment for women and men? And in response, he starts talking about the Virgin Mary and how she's depicted in Christian iconography. Well, that's all very well, but it doesn't answer the question. The fact is that the Islamic texts and teachings are very clear that women are not equal to men, that they are, indeed, they do have the responsibility to rein in men's desires. Men don't have the responsibility for self-control. It's all on the women, who have to cover up to make sure that the men have no object of desire that will distract them. And that in itself shows that men and women are not equal in Islam, but as a matter of fact, the women are the servants of the men and have to always accommodate the nature of the men, the desires of the men, the demands of the men in every respect, in every detail of their lives.
Okay, we have